Welcome. Thank you. It's another episode of the Six Figure Club Pod. What it do?
What's up?
Yeah.
My name is Johnny, and I am your accountant, one of the hosts.
It's your boy, Mr. Chris, and who we had the pleasure with of having on here today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Precious Price.
What it do? Precious Price, Double P's,
Yeah.
Pushing P's.
Hey.
That's my intro song anytime.
What y'all think about that? Whatever that was on that Drake song on that new Thug. He was like, "I'm pushing Peter, way more sweeter than any pusher Peter around." That need to be your little tag.
I ain't catch that one.
You didn't catch that one?
But I'm sure people love it because it's Drake.
Shout out to Young Thug, Free Slime.
Where you from?
Well, originally I'm from Chicago. I went to high school in Indiana, right outside of Gary, and now I've been in here in Atlanta for 5 years.
Chicago, Cook County Hospital,
Cook
Chicago.
County, baby. Yes, Cook County, Southside, 80th and Colfax. Yes.
A fun fact: I was born in Cook County Hospital. People don't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm actually
born
in Chicago because I feel like
Whoa.
wherever you went to middle school at,
That's a red flag.
where you should rep your city at.
Really?
I think so. If you went to middle school, high school, that's your city. Like,
Nah.
you can say I'm from here, but if it's your city, that means you got roots. That means you can't just not act like you was in one city for 2 months and then you move here, but you from Chicago. I can't say that.
No, I mean, but the thing is like if I come at y'all maybe like 7 years from now and somebody asks me like where I'm from, it's like, okay, I done been in Atlanta for about 15 years now. I'm probably from Atlanta now.
That's a fact.
And I'm originally from Chicago, and that's how you go.
So if you left here,
because the thing is here, because I was just having a conversation with my friends about this. So this is what I want to say about that. Because when we look at celebrities, right, Keke Palmer, for instance, she's originally from Chicago or Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't been there since she was probably about 9-10 years old.
But she still.
But when somebody asks where she from, it's still Chicago, right? She not gonna say L.A. just because she didn't been in L.A.
But I feel like
where your roots at, where you feel like made you, where you feel like made you.
Indy, for sure.
Okay, then for me that's Chicago. I don't feel like Indiana.
You in Chicago?
I was in Chicago till I was 14.
Oh, you from Chicago?
Yeah.
What was we talking about?
What was your Chicago area code? 708?
60621, baby.
No, I'm talking about cell phone. No, the cell phone.
773. I still got it.
Okay, 773. Yeah, 708, 773, and then what? 812?
312.
312. Okay.
812 is
yeah, 812 Evansville. Yeah.
Shout out to the Chi, man. That's all. If you Midwest, I fuck with you.
Come on now.
You know what I'm talking about? The region. That's what you.
What? That's where I went to high school. Yes,
so
that's what the folks call it. I mean, I went to high school there. You know.
And then you went to Bloomington. You went on groups.
Yeah.
Groups.
Let's go.
So
G13.
I got accepted to groups.
But you ain't go though. Why would
I
you
declined it.
Why? That's lame. That is lame.
I just wanted to make my own path.
Nah, he was an athlete. He went to go play sports and shit. He should have came to Bloomington though.
Yeah, definitely. It was a fun.
Different life.
What were you? What groups?
I was in groups 08.
Damn.
Well, technically, I was in groups. I was always down there.
Yeah, you was.
Yeah.
But you was
I did casino night. Every big thing I was there.
Where the hell were you at casino night?
I was in casino night. I had my
towel and everything. All of us dressed up like.
Yeah, I was in casino. I was technically in groups. I was there every weekend.
But he wasn't in them grinding them classes.
Yeah, I wasn't in the class. I just came for fun.
But yeah, I was Ari at G10 and G. Wait, was I? No, G10 and G11. So you came even after that. That's
yeah,
so you know Duval, you know Said Harris.
Yes.
You okay?
Delta.
You a Delta? Gamma Nu?
Yeah.
Shout out to Gamma Nu.
My pro's not gonna like that though, but yeah.
They know me, man. Let me tell you a funny story about Gamma Nu. They hated me when I was in school because one time, like, you know how, you probably don't know how, but Herman B. Wells, all the black kids, we studied at the top.
Yeah, yes.
So, one time, we was like rushed on the elevator. It was like everybody was leaving out. It was funny as hell. It was like study tables. Our MPAC used to put us in study tables. We was getting on the elevator, and for whatever reason, we was childish, and like all the guys in my chapter, like, we was being idiots. We all got on the elevators, and the Deltas was like, dang, y'all ain't let us on there. And I was like, fuck the Deltas. Last the elevator was closing, and I turned around. And there was one more Delta on the elevator. Tony's.
Oh, Tony's do not play.
All right, our little ass, she was like, fuck you. I was like, huh? But that's my niggas, because she went to Harshman with me. She went to Tech, I think. So, like, she knew it's love, but I was just bullshit.
Nah, she went to North Central.
She went to North Central High School?
Shout out to Tony. She in the
Tony's,
man.
She live out here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tony's was one of the first people showed me love down here.
Tony's tap in with us, man. I'm gonna hit her up.
Last time we was chopping up, she was making beats and doing music stuff.
She know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Anything you know, Tony's can learn it. She inspires me. I'd be like, if Tony's can learn how to do this in a week. I remember she started learning how to skate, man. She was a world-class skater. I just be following her on Instagram. She knows how to do everything. Yeah. Like, shout out to Tony. Shout out to Gamma New. That's actually, we fuck with them heavy, like at IU, but you know how it go.
Shout out to the Reds.
Shout out to the Reds, man.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk more about you because, I mean, I don't really know much about you, but, like, I guess our circles just missed each other because you went to Bloomington, you Red, like.
What'd you cross?
I'm Gamma.
Okay. Oh, okay,
Spring
okay.
10.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yes.
So, I don't know if anybody, you might know Chris Mentor because he was around.
Is it, Chris Deshaun? Was Deshaun after you? He was
Way after me.
Dang. Yeah.
You're not going to know nobody from my line.
She might know Jeff Williams.
Probably
Jeff,
not.
I know Jeff.
Know Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, what's the nigga name? I know Marlon Webb. He was still on campus for a little bit after we left.
I've heard the name. I've seen the name, but I cannot put the face to it. But
we lame, man. Shout out to Subliminal, man. We just a long lost line, man. But we inspired a nation, man. Gamma wouldn't be who it is without us. But that's neither here nor there. So let's get into you, man. What do you do? And she goes say, hey, we got somebody, Precious Price. She got a tiny home. She on TED Talk. So how you come up?
How did I come up? That's a loaded question. Okay, so let's start right now. If I could, I guess, classify myself as anything, it would more so be consulting. Marketing consulting is primarily what I do. So when I came here to Atlanta, that is after I finished up at IU, I was in the Kelley School of Business. I finished up my master's and information systems was what I was studying. Came here to Atlanta and started at a management consulting firm called Accenture. Huge.
So you did your master's at IU as well?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did my master's, both my...
You was in informatics or you was in Kelley still?
Kelley. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Kelley.
Yeah. Kelley undergrad and grad. Came down here.
That's a flex if y'all don't know. Like, that's one of the top business schools. I got a master's in Kelley's master's, so it's a flex. It's a flex. So go ahead and talk your shit.
But would you say that if you didn't get yours, though?
Would I say it's a flex? Hell yeah.
You would still say it's a flex?
Because I know, like, when I know everybody was in our course sweating, like, trying to get into that school, because it's very rigorous. So, and it's not that many black people already, so it's not going to be that many black people that actually get accepted to Kelley. And then to have a master's as well, that's a flex. Like, throw your arm up, because that's some motherfucking
I've been
flex.
working out, too.
Whoa.
Let me see
it's a gun show. Stop.
Peter Pipers.
Whoa.
Clown.
You gonna get us canceled.
Regardless, so I came here to Atlanta, started at Accenture, was basically traveling throughout the week. So in consulting, what you do basically is go into other businesses and help those businesses solve their problems. With Accenture, they're a global firm, huge. So they're helping in all aspects that you can think that they are. Tech, strategy, artificial intelligence, ads and marketing, like all of that stuff. So when I came to Accenture, I started out within their cloud practice. Basically, y'all should be familiar with cloud. If you're not, it's basically like Google Drive. Google Drive is cloud. So I was doing that same thing on campus at IU, actually. You familiar with UITS? Well, everybody familiar with UITS because you had to go there. But UITS, I worked for UITS. I was doing all their cloud.
UITS is the information
technology
team.
Services.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like the tech stuff for me had like a core.
You was on UITS?
Yes.
I fuck with UITS. UITS will come and get your computer right real quick. Like it was a good service.
No, it was fine.
You wasn't fucked up, man. They coming.
So that kind of was like more of my roots because in undergrad I studied both marketing and technology management. Okay. So both of those together were honestly like a fire combo because I do believe that studying marketing, regardless of whatever you want to do, knowing the skill of marketing in and of itself will take you very, very far. I'm a firm believer that anybody who studies marketing is like you can you can conquer or succeed within anything when you know marketing. Marketing is the core of everything. It's how we think. It's psychology. So studied that, and then that is actually how I started like one of my first businesses, which was helping people with like personal branding, professional branding on campus and all of that. That business came with me, and I was still doing that while I was at Accenture.
So you was getting people right at IU?
Yeah.
Who needed their personal brand touched up at IU?
Everybody needs their personal, because I was fired with my personal brand. People saw me going crazy on LinkedIn, getting internships, getting externships, studies about all types of stuff.
I never heard of an externship. I would have hired
you.
What the fuck is that?
And so you know how internship is like, okay, you're going into the company and like you're helping them with their business, working as basically an intern. An externship is probably like, it's a lot shorter of a time, maybe 2 weeks, but they fly you out and you're going to see them. Like you're not going to go work for them. They're basically wowing you. That's an externship. So my externship actually was here in Atlanta, and that's what solidified me wanting to come to Atlanta. That was 2015.
That's strong.
2015.
That's what's up.
So it was very fire. So then came to Atlanta, and as mentioned, like doing the consulting and also doing my branding and everything on the side. I was doing speaking engagements like crazy. I don't know. It was just a whirlwind of things. But I then just so happened to stumble into real estate. And I say stumble into, I don't know, loosely. But for me, I came down here and my plan wasn't to like, okay, I'm coming down here and immediately I'm getting into real estate. I knew that it was a thing kind of more far out, but once I got here, it was my mom who was really pushing me like, okay, you need to go buy a house. So I moved here in 2018. Mama. She made it happen. I talk about that in my TED Talk as well. How my mom, like she bought her first house when she was like 21, again. 22.
What you talking about? The TED Talk? I was waiting for that. I know you was...
So that's coming. So like all of that is coming, right? So yes, came here in 2018, bought my house in 2019, and that's basically when I got in the short-term rental game, which is more so where you kind of know me at and where we met up. So got in the short-term rental game, and initially I was renting my apartment literally where we are right here. Insane.
Can we talk about that? Because they always talk about me and like my connection to the guests. How y'all know each other? How y'all meet?
We met through Marcel, right?
Yeah.
We met through Marcel.
Sully!
Shout out to Sel.
Shout out to Sel, man.
Yeah.
Sel the plug.
Yeah. So it was, I don't even remember. It was probably some event, but Sel basically introduced us. We met up.
It was after that Jack art thing.
The pancakes and art show thing.
Yeah, because it was at the State Farm, but it was sold out. Y'all was in. I didn't get in.
I remember
and me and Darren met y'all at the hookah bar.
Yes.
What was it? Sivas.
Yes. Okay,
R.I.P. Sivas, man. They closed.
Sivas out?
Yeah, they closed.
I don't be outside like that.
Yeah, Sivas closed now.
So you was on campus with Marcel?
Not Marcel was for a little bit. Marcel was a bit older than me, but remember we were both in Kelly. So Marcel was in Kelly too. So that's basically how we knew each other, because Marcel is, I don't think is he a founding member of Mu Beta Lambda? I don't remember, but either way, we were both in Mu Beta Lambda.
Probably so.
As well. So Mu Beta Lambda is the first black business fraternity ever. But it started in Kelly.
What?
Yes. So it was the business fraternity, and I knew Sel through the business fraternity as well, and through Kelly.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Made it happen. I was killing it at IU. Killing it. But regardless, so yeah, came here.
It's crazy because it's like in every class, it's like one or two people that got that mindset. Like, I'm about to come to IU.
Go crazy.
I'm black and I'm about to like make a name for myself on IU. Like, I didn't really have that mindset. It just happened that way for me. But there were a lot of people who were intentional about it, and I respect that. So
interestingly enough, and I'm glad we're talking about this, but I had no choice but to be very intentional about it. So I'm the oldest of 5. I'm first generation everything. Everything that I'm doing, I'm the first to ever do that shit. Whether it's like I graduated high school in 3 years, and I literally jumped 2 days later and went to groups and moved into IU. I was gone. And then from that point...
They accepted you to groups your junior year?
That's strong.
Yeah, because I graduated high school in 3 years.
Shout out
finished
to Annie Willis. Was she still around?
Annie Willis? I believe so. The name is familiar, but my group's advisor was Roger Gildersleeve. Shout out Roger.
Shout out to old ass Roger Gildersleeve. He's still living?
Yes. Don't be rude.
Mine was Vince Ison.
Vince was cool too, but yes, my advisor was Roger Gildersleeve. No.
Roger was my original one, like when I was in groups, and then I got switched to Vince. But Roger, he'll let you come to his office. He'll tutor you.
Oh yeah,
like he was that guy. Shout out to Roger Gildersleeve.
Yes, so like that made it happen.
Let me say something real. Explain groups.
So groups is basically like, I would say it's a a pre-program for freshman students who are entering into their first year of college, of course, but it's for them to get more acclimated to the campus. So they come early for about 8 weeks in the summertime. You take classes, you join programs, and you just get far more, I guess,
Nah, you can get sent home.
Exactly, but it's technically a scholarship program, so you get a scholarship in addition to that experience, and it's primarily for underrepresented minority students.
You can get sent home. Let people know they get sent home.
Oh yeah,
everybody make it out of group.
Oh yeah, no, everybody does not make it out of. Wow, I know people who did not make it out of groups. But it was an amazing experience.
I was almost one of them.
I'm sure I can tell. So so what I will say is that, as you mentioned, like, I didn't, so coming there and like really going to college and getting busy, as mentioned, I didn't necessarily have a choice not to, because it's like, okay, I gotta make this happen, because if I don't, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like back at home, I'm gonna be working at Walmart, I'm gonna get pregnant, like all of this, and it's no shade to like any single mothers or anything like that, because my mother had me when she was 15, she was just a kid, but that was literally a reoccurring theme in my family, almost like what some people would say a generational curse. So when I actually ended up graduating high school, and then even furthermore going to college, eventually graduating, get my master's, all of that, it was a really, really big deal in my family. So when I went off to IU, I say I didn't have a choice, because I literally felt like I was carrying my family on my back with what I was doing. Like, this is going to change the trajectory of generations. And if I'm being honest with you, it did. It's almost full circle, because this year, I was just telling you, but this year my sister just moved here to Atlanta last month. And it's amazing, because none of my family really left outside of like Chicago. If they did leave outside of Chicago, they moved to the region. That's nothing. That's no better, really. Like, it's no better. But that is really what, like, that's really where that, I would say, mindset of almost what I like to call grit, that's where it started for me, was like when I was in Chicago, and then especially when I moved to Indiana, because I hated it so bad, I'm not gonna lie to you. But went off to IU, and after that, that's when I realized, like, okay, I gotta make some shit shake and get out of here. And Atlanta was that. And when I came to Atlanta, same way when I went to IU, I got busy. And it's been amazing since then. So this year makes 2 years that I've been working for myself full time. I'm currently, just to kind of bring it full circle, I currently am the co-founder and run marketing for a property tech startup that's called Gather ADU. What we do is we help homeowners explore what's possible with the extra land that they have. So backyards, empty lots, all of that. We help you to explore those possibilities in terms of how can you turn that into housing for the people that need it, while also being able to generate some income and create some cash flow.
That's dope.
I got something we can switch it to.
What?
Off the cuff, Chris.
Wait, no. I like the background. My background was really
we
good.
use that every time. Let's see what he got.
Yeah, let's switch it up.
I don't know. Off the cuff, Chris is new.
But mine is good. I'm not gonna hold you. My background real good. It's not no surface level stuff. But go ahead.
Well, you can tell us what your background is.
So yeah, I'm so grateful y'all gave me this platform to do this. So my current background is my why. So about 9 months ago, I've always really thought about my purpose of what I want to do, who I want to be, and all of that. But my background on my phone is literally like a statement for my why. It's about 2 to 3 sentences. 9 months ago, I basically developed, like, I wanted to have a mission statement for myself. What the hell am I going after? Where am I going? All of that. So my why is pretty much, and because I can't look at it right now, it's 2 to 3 sentences. But in a nutshell, it's basically, I understand the interconnectedness of the universe, and know that in order for me to, live a life of ease and get everything that I want, it's important for me to operate within joy and in alignment, so that I can get to that life of ease, because whatever I am doing is interconnected with somebody else's purpose. So that's what my wallpaper, my background.
You know who Murdoch is?
Murdoch?
Yeah,
Murdoch who?
He went to IUPUI Alpha. He does a lot of public speaking engagements. Law school. Yeah, Alpha. But he's actually the first person that I met who was
Murdoch, tap in.
Talking about mission statements. Like, this is probably like 5 years ago. Like, when I was like his muse with the mission statement. Okay. But really just that it was just like a little advanced at that time of just like what he's trying to get to now, but not as dope. Because I know his mission statement, I wouldn't say it was super advanced, but it had a lot of technical words, but like he was like just explaining your purpose without taking too much time, because he's like, you only got 15 seconds. Yeah. So
literally.
It's kind of go on the same page to just what you say, just 2 cents.
100%. Because I would say, like, especially, I know we like this is like the 6-figure pie, right?
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about money, but I think sometimes when we have these conversations about money, we tend to forget the mindset that also needs to accompany whatever money you're wanting to gain, or like whatever money that you have. Because if you don't have the proper mindset, you are going to lose it, or you're going to be amidst all of this money and all of this like tangible abundance, but you don't appreciate it, or you don't know how to appreciate it because you're unfulfilled.
You preach to the choir over here, because I had a conversation with Miss Marnay, and we had the same conversation too, Chris, just about having that grateful mindset. Because how I put it, and I like your way better, so I'm gonna actually screenshot yours back. As a matter of fact, I need that for the pod because I'm gonna put it in.
Okay.
But what I always say is that we have to have a mindset of gratefulness. As if we died today, we gotta be happy with what our life was. Like everything that we have now is all that we need for happiness, and everything else is extra. You know what I'm saying? So I really fuck with that mindset, because like you said, if your mindset is on, if you thirsty for money, or if you thirsty for notoriety, it's not gonna come to you in the right way if you get it at all. But if you're just doing you and working hard, you're gonna attract everything that's supposed to come to you. You don't even ask for shit. You just work.
You're hitting it on the head. Literally, number one, attitude of gratitude. Always attitude of gratitude. You got to operate from a mindset of abundance. When you're operating from gratitude, you're operating from abundance rather than scarcity, which honestly is almost ingrained within our people's mindset, is like scarcity, because we had to fight against each other for so many things. But then even furthermore, what I always like to say, because I was always, people know me who grew up with me, I was money making P, like chasing the bag, chasing the bread, always having a hustle, always doing something. And it got to a point, especially I would say like when I moved here to Atlanta a couple years in, but I came to the realization like anything you're chasing is running away from you. Flow. And I think that's really what speaks more so to like that why statement that I have is like, I want to live a life of like flow, right? Not just like, okay, I'm fighting to get here. I'm always trying to like gnaw my way to the top, because the shit, like, I'm a firm believer that all of this is written. It's already like whatever is for me is gonna come to me regardless, as long as I'm making sure that I'm the person prepared to receive it. So I feel you on that 100%.
I appreciate that. You got good head on your shoulders. How old are you?
27.
27. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
How did you get in entrepreneurship?
How did I get into entrepreneurship? My mother. I will go back to Mama P. My mother and my father both were like natural born hustlers, right? I never seen my mom work for anybody else, number one. But then her and my father, when I was growing up, especially when we were in Chicago, they dabbled a bit in real estate. They were more so into like wholesaling, like designer items and shit like that. So my mom is who sparked that idea for me of like, I see she just able to live life on her own terms. I want to be able to do that too. So when I was younger, like I would do hair, because my mom is now a cosmetologist. She has a salon in Northwest Indiana too. But she's been doing hair all my life. So when I was younger and I was in middle school, like I would be doing braids, I'll be doing sew-ins. I started reselling like clothes. So I would go to the outlet, get clothes, and then resell them on campus, UGG boots, polo sweaters, like all of that. So it's always been within my spirit. But really like entrepreneurship was the only, I knew it was the only route. I knew it was where I was going to end up. So much so that at a point in time in college, entrepreneurship was my major, until I realized that trying to initially get an internship or job, that's a hard question to answer, is how you entrepreneurship. I don't know. They just asked me that in an interview and I got stuck, and I'm like, let me change this major because I need some money right now. But yes, like that's how I got in. And my mother, and honestly just like side hustling all the time. But I think it's a major difference between like constantly being a side hustler and then like operating within that point of, now I am a CEO. I am really an entrepreneur and not just side hustling. And that doesn't discredit the people that are side hustling, but I started to realize, because my mom has been an entrepreneur her whole life. When I got in this position where I'm now like, CEO of a startup, we have a team, I have a co-founder, I realized that that is a lot different than, let's say, what my mom has been doing, because my mom she has that hustle mindset, whereas I'm in a mindset of like, how can I sustain this and remove myself from the equation?
I fuck with that. So what would you say your passion is?
My passion? Marketing, like the study of people, the study of self. those that would be like top 3, and I think all of those are weaved into each other. But 100% marketing and just like the study of people.
For sure, for sure.
What's your favorite book?
Ooh, I love this question. The Power of Now. Immediately, Eckhart Tolle did his big one with that one. If you have not read The Power of Now,
give me the spark notes real quick.
Spark notes of The Power of Now. Oh my goodness. Okay, so on a very basic level, for people who are especially high achievers that are always living in the future, that are always thinking about the future, what they're planning, forward thinking.
That's a curse.
It is, exactly. It is the one book that really made it click for me, that is like, in order for me to even succeed in the future, I have to bring myself back to the present moment right now. Because if I'm constantly living in a state of my mind is in the future, but my body is here in the present, that's a gap, like in just reality, period. And in that gap then comes stress, it comes anxiety, it comes like, oh my God, I'm not where I'm supposed to be and I'm not doing anything. And when really it's like you fail to typically acknowledge and celebrate the things that you're doing right now in this moment when you're constantly thinking about the future. So the Power of Now allows you, or goes into, I guess, like the techniques, the tools, the background on how you can really bring your mind and ground your mind into the now. And a piece of that, as you already mentioned, is attitude of gratitude. So for me, I write every single day. I journal all of the time. I've been journaling for like damn near all of my life. But I've just recently, within, I would say, the last year, started to develop a real framework to it. And for me, the number one thing I do first is identify 3 things I'm grateful for right now within the last 24 to 48 hours. What has happened? What am I grateful for? Because that allows me to operate from, again, a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Is like I immediately get up and I'm thinking about all the shit that I have to do, the things that I have not done and what I don't have. I go into how can I start my day with what I do have. Where's the abundance at?
And that's what helps you change that mindset. Okay.
Absolutely. So there's a Spark Note. So go read it. And I also think there's like an animated, quick, like Spark Note version on YouTube as well that you can just watch and listen to.
For sure. Let me get into your personal real quick. So you said you 27, you single?
I am single.
So you just been out here in Atlanta just dating?
A bit. Like I would say so. I recently got out of a longer relationship earlier this year. So that relationship was 2.5 years. So now, I mean, I'm kind of dating, but then I'm kind of also like, I don't think whoever is gonna be for me is here
in Atlanta.
Nah, like I
Atlanta
really
strikes again.
I really think it's not even just Atlanta. It's like I really think like my person might be out of the country. Because I've done, especially like within these 27 years as well, I've done a lot of traveling. I did a lot of solo travel, especially in college. And then when I first came here to Atlanta, I believe like he's somewhere either in Mexico, Portugal, Thailand, Bali.
I don't know where I was at when I heard somebody was kind of on that same rhetoric where they was just saying, man, I was listening to somebody on YouTube with a podcast. No, they was on Instagram. It was a clip of their podcast. But she was on that same thing. She was like, my man is not here because a lot of men here don't have the minds, like, I guess what you were talking about, that grateful mindset to where it's like her being an entrepreneur could even work with somebody else because I don't know, I guess the everyday hustle and bustle of Atlanta probably, or whatever that means, Americans probably is not.
Americans, and that's what it is. I think it's ingrained within our culture because we have a culture of capitalism, right? Like everything, even when, like you asked me my passion, a lot of people tend to, like, we have a curse of monetizing our passions and our hobbies to the point where they're not even passions and hobbies anymore. Because we're overworking ourselves thinking that, oh my God, I got to make more money. I got to make more money. And right now we damn near do because everything is so expensive. But I agree with you. Like that mindset from someone who is just operating with ease, operating out of abundance, knowing that it's like, okay, I'm not like all the things in my output doesn't make me worthy of anything. I'm worthy just because I am worthy and I'm here and based on who I am. Right. That mindset isn't something that most American men have, let alone most Americans.
I got a little joke. So are you saying that you can get to the bag, but your man gotta just be out here free?
No, absolutely not. I need my man to get to the bag because the hell I'm not trying to keep working. What's wrong? Like I might be a hustler, I might be a boss now, but this is not like the identity I want to continue to hold. So my person, my partner, absolutely like needs to be a.
But I feel like you kind of far ahead of most niggas though. So
like I get that.
Can you like get somebody who's lesser than you as far as like monetary?
I have before. At this point, most of the men have not made as much money as I have made or brought in or
so
saved.
that's not a thing. That's not a big thing.
Like that's not a big deal. It's really like it's mindset. But I'm not gonna hold you. I am in a season now where I'm starting to question whether or not that like that tangible piece, they need to have that tangible piece of making more than me, because clearly like the men that are not, but I kind of feel like, oh, they might have the mindset, they don't, or they're faking it. And that's been a huge piece that I'm realizing too. It's like, especially when you are like, I ain't famous, but I'm kind of a public figure. I done had some features and all of that. Mm-hmm. When you are like that and you've been somebody who's documented so much online, I tend to meet men, and I'll meet men, and it's like they might meet me one time and they're so intrigued and they're so impressed. They go look me up, and now you looked up all of my shit. You done watched all of my interviews. You basically know me. So now when you come and you ask me on a date and we on our first date, you're putting on this identity that you feel like is going to be good and mesh with who you think I am, rather than just really getting to know me and telling me who the hell you are. So then you get in months later and it's like, I'm wondering who you are, because it's like, wait, nigga, your true colors starting to show. Like, I thought you was doing all of this stuff. I thought you was on this.
Well, I feel like guys will do that even if you was broke, though. They'll see they'll go on her Instagram. Listen what I do.
But it's
this is what I did. This is what I did. But, like, you'll go on a girl Instagram, and first thing I'm looking for is, like, what type of date she be going on and how she be dressed on these dates. That gives me kind of a gauge of how I need to be coming. Do I need to step high? Do I need to step low? Like, do I need to... So, dudes do that no matter what they pockets look like.
But an Instagram is a lot different than somebody who is, like, then been featured and had all these conversations about the inner depths of my mind.
Before, so I don't know.
I have had men say that they've Googled me. I've had men come up to me and it's like, oh my God, I was literally binging your content. I'm like, damn. I mean, that's what it's there for, but damn. Like,
that's a little scary. You know? Is that what they call love bombing?
No. Love bombing is like, I'm going to overshower you with all of this love and affection, either after or prior to me doing some fuck shit. That's what love bombing is, and I've had that experience too here in Atlanta. That's why I don't date here no more. That man almost killed me.
It's a lot of new. You said one too. A lot of new dating trigger words that I just don't know exactly what they mean. You said if any girl uses the term "I'm in this season," I'm already like, whoa, what season is it? Because y'all, it's so many different seasons. Like, what do that be meaning?
So this season, I think it's just understanding you are in this season as well. You're always in a season.
Are we in the same season all the time?
No.
So I'm in my season, you in your season.
It's not about my season. It's like you got to describe the season. Like right now, I'm in my season of ease. I'm in my season of flow.
Okay. Can I be in multiple seasons at once?
Absolutely. I can be in my bag and be in the flow.
That was a bar.
I can't keep up. I can't keep up with the seasons, man. It just be interesting to me.
I think that's the mindset piece, though. I think that's a big piece of just the mindset, right? Like, I'm in a season right now, and it's understanding those are the people. When people say, like, okay, I'm in this season, I ain't gonna say when people say it, because TikTok got everybody saying all types of shit.
Because everybody's in a soft girl season right now.
That's a red flag.
Red flag if they in a soft girl?
When the girls say they gotta get in a soft girl season, that's a red flag.
No.
She always be in a soft girl season.
I agree. That I can agree with. But when I like seasons, it's in terms of understanding that, okay, life comes at you in different chapters. So let's say like I'm in a season right now where I'm really winning. And this is what the Power Now talks about too, which is really important. But I'm in my season of, winning right now. And shit's going so good and I'm getting all of the features. And it's understanding that is the season that I'm in right now. But when you get to a point in life where you understand everything is fucking temporary, when it's good, appreciate it because it's not going to be good forever. And when it's bad, shit, push through it because it's not going to be bad forever. I think that's what I speak to more so when I say like I'm in this season. It's this season where I know like it's not going to be continuous, but
just don't give up.
Exactly.
Nah, I really can't identify with that because like I've been in a place where I had everything and I had nothing. I had everything again. I had nothing again. Like, so I always in the back of my mind is like my kidneys can fail again, like, and I could go down one more time. So I'm always trying to like build up right now, like to preserve myself for them times. But like you said, all good things come to an end at some point. But you got to be able to withstand the rain once it do come, cause shit,
It's gonna come.
Hard times ain't as hard when you got a little money in the bank. You know
that's
what I'm talking about?
And hard times aren't as hard when you have the right mindset, right? Like, it's a lot of people who they get to hard times, and I've experienced this with men as well in relationships, and that's kind of the downfall. It's not even that you don't have money, but it's your mindset and how you react and interact with people when you don't have money. It's like, are you somebody who you then get all like down and out and woe is me and fuck the world? Or are you somebody like, okay, fuck, I know this ain't gonna last, but like let's get it. That's what I'm saying.
But when you ain't got no money as a man, you're gonna be stressed. I know,
but that's what I'm saying. But men is like, again, and I feel like it's so important for men to do this work and men to go to therapy, please. It's so important for y'all to do that because
men should go to therapy for real.
100%. But I do understand what you're saying in terms of when a man is down and out with money, it's like it's everything for him. And I think that also goes along with the fact that for so many men, they feel like their worthiness comes from money.
Why is that?
And the wallet.
Why is that?
But I'm gonna say y'all mamas. It's a previous generation. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, because even I kind of see it within like relationships that are in my extended family or my family as well, of how older women tend to treat and talk to.
You're not trying to talk to no nigga who ain't got a bag, right? Did you just not say that?
No, I said that I'm thinking about it. Not talking to I'm thinking about not talking, but I said all of my previous ones have not made as much as me, and I gave y'all a chance and didn't give a damn what you were making.
So, for guys, if you watching this and you want
comment below,
if you want a girl like this, if you want a girl like her, you better have a bag, and if he don't, he gonna feel like he's not worthy of you.
Hold on, wait. Why would you not want a bag for yourself? Riddle me that in the comments, please. Why would you not? Because the thing is before you shouldn't even be worried about a woman or a relationship for real until you feel like you have gotten right within yourself. Because a relationship is two whole people coming together. What are you bringing to the table? And when people say, what are you bringing to the table? It's not that monetary shit. It's what are you bringing to the table in terms of what work have you done on yourself to be able to better navigate through this world and through whatever the bullshit that's going on. That is what it is. So you can try. I mean, here's the perfect segue to learn more about money. You know,
facts,
and do the coloring book.
And if you're not that smart, guys, this was dumbed down for you. It's made for grade schoolers, so get into it.
See,
I appreciate that, but you can't really argue with women because they it's so many ways that y'all can put it down, flip it, and reverse it to where
you're hilarious.
I don't even try to argue with y'all, but you're right. Men should. I feel like they primary every day wake up should focus on being a better nigga than they was yesterday. Like,
have you been to therapy?
I've been to therapy. My therapist fired me. I got fired from therapy.
Tell us more.
Because I feel like I got a woman, and she wasn't gonna understand me. But I think when I first got into therapy, it's because
she was a woman therapist. You said
that's my theory. I'm not sexist or anything. I love women. But I feel like I got fired because I should have been in therapy with a man, with an older black man, like father figure type man.
Okay, well, I can see that. And I can see her identifying that it's like, I don't have what you need in this season.
Well,
because there are some seasons and some men where like they need a woman. I don't know
what season I was in. I was in a very, I was getting.
What, y'all was arguing or so?
Let me try to make it quick. So I was just breaking up, had to kick her out the house. I ain't gonna make it to what time I'm talking about. Like getting over a breakup. Okay. Long breakup. Okay. Like, so I'm thinking like, damn, I'm really cold inside right now. Like couldn't even think about even like, I don't know. I was in a dark spot. I was in a dark spot mentally.
Okay.
Like I was very cold hearted. Like couldn't see myself loving people. Like so I was like, I should probably go to therapy, get myself ready to, because I'm a lover boy, so I know I want a girl, but I don't want to.
You knew that wasn't in your character to be feeling.
Yeah, it wasn't in my character.
That's good. That's when you go.
And I knew like I was just in a really like slime state. Like I was dog mode, and I didn't like it.
I figured that word was coming. I'm just saying I figured that word was coming with the thing.
Anyway, she had a whole bunch of like she's a woman, and she's looking at men like, this is what you need to be a man, and you need to do this, this, and this. And I'm thinking like that ain't it. Like I respect women's intuition. Like I think women are way smarter than men. Like y'all see and feel.
Absolutely.
So I trust women, but I just feel like what it means to be a man and getting a man to a point where he can lead and be all this, I can't. So I don't know.
You can't go ahead finish that last part. I think that's important.
What was that?
You said I can't. So being
like
a man.
I can't learn that from a woman. I guess that's where I was going with that.
In the season, okay, I got you.
In that season.
I definitely feel like it's in that season. Like in that season, you weren't what you were looking to learn. You couldn't learn from her, and that I agree with. And I'm glad that she was able to fire you.
I like the way you put
package
that.
Package. You like how I package that? I be wordsmithing.
Can you argue with women?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Either way. I'm glad you went and you had that experience.
Ask him, did he go to therapy? This nigga ain't never been no therapy. You been therapy?
Why are we talking about me for? She asked me.
It was just an interview.
Now I'm asking because I would seriously.
I lied about going to therapy, but I never went before.
What's the next topic?
What's
the next topic?
We're not diving into that because this is a personal cover. This we the Sixth Grade Club, but you know.
No, actually, I tried to get therapy, and the female both of the females who I went to, they rejected me.
Huh?
Yeah, they was like, I can't do therapy on you. This is a conflict of interest, and I'm like, how's it a conflict of interest? Why can't y'all?
So what? A licensed therapist?
Huh? Yes, they both told me no.
So what was the reason that they said they couldn't?
They were just like, it's conflict of interest.
What was the conflict? Who were these women? You knew these women?
Yeah.
Well, of course.
But it's like, in my mind, it's like, okay, I could open up and tell you, like, you're not going to judge me, so.
But they can't be indifferent about it if you, for instance, like, had already known them or had a pre-existing, like, relationship. They can't be indifferent about your situation.
No, I didn't have sex with them.
Even if you didn't have, even if, like, I wouldn't try to be, like, a real official therapist.
You lying.
I did have
no,
sex
that definitely what it seemed like when you said it was a conflict of interest.
They were saying it's a conflict of interest, so maybe they had feelings for me, but I thought we were just friends.
But I will agree
Don't
that.
You hate that?
Yeah, and then I was like, well, can you refer some people to me? And
they never referred nobody?
No.
You
gotta go the real way. Like, go on the website and get you a real therapist.
Yeah. I agree.
I will say, I need some therapy.
But I feel like, do you feel like you need a woman or a man to be your therapist?
I probably want a woman.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Why?
Because some things I just feel like I don't need to talk to a man about.
Yeah, because y'all just be feeding each other just.
Yeah. I feel like, but I'm gonna try a man next time I.
No, definitely.
Because I feel like the first time, I'll be honest, I don't want no man telling me what to do. Like, who are you? I know you ain't. Yeah. I know you ain't going home with a squeaky clean life.
That's ego. And speaking.
I feel like a man would understand some of my mental strategies or the things that I've been through. Where a woman will listen and understand and not judge. Men just sometimes judge off of assumption.
So here's the piece that I think is really, really important about therapy, because I know this is going to help some people who are listening, right? You go to therapy to get what you need for you in that season. So
that word again.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if for you in that season, it's like, okay, I need somebody who is going to listen a bit more, who is going to provide me more like spiritual guidance, whatever, again, season that you're in. Right. You know that they break down therapists like that the same way that it's like I've tried, for instance, like a white woman therapist and I've tried a black woman therapist. Like, you get different things, and then there are therapists who is like, okay, I want somebody with a specific lens, I don't know, on Christianity if you are a Christian. That's what people go for. So I think it's really important before you even try to start exploring options for therapy to go ahead and, number one, sit down with yourself and like, what do I want out of this? Because a therapist is not giving you the answers. They're providing you with the space for you to figure out the answers on your own.
That's the other thing too. Like, if I just want to sit and talk about it, like, give me the actionable items to fix myself. Mm-hmm. And I feel like me and her never got there.
And it's also important at the very beginning, and that's why they kind of like there's typically a really, really long sheet or questionnaire that you fill out, because they want to get a better idea of what are your goals.
She must have been a janky one, because she ain't asked me all that.
Mm-hmm. They typically ask like, what are you wanting to get out of therapy, so that they can know whether or not they can provide you with that. If it's like, tell me what to do for my career, okay. If it's like, I just need somebody to talk to because there's so much shit just going on through my head, that's a different thing.
And I think that was it too. Because I was like, they was like, what you need therapy for? And I was like, I really didn't have no reason of why I needed therapy. I was just like, I just feel like I need therapy.
Yeah, but, and you're trying to, exactly. But you got to come with a goal.
But it was no like concrete reason, like, oh, I'm fucked up.
Yeah, I just went through a breakup, or I got parental stuff. Like, usually there's topics that they ask you, like, what are you struggling with, and then that helps them better get to it. But again, if you came there, you was like, hey, friend, I just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah, it was really some friend. And I was like, hey, I could feel like you could ask me whatever, but I feel like I'm be able to be honest with you instead of somebody else. Where I'm not saying you're gonna get a therapist and you're gonna be completely 100 with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
You should,
but all people don't do that. They still, like, I heard people who go to therapy like, I didn't really tell my therapist the truth. I left some stuff out. So.
And that's crazy because you wasting money that you're spending to not get what you want out of it when you're not being honest with it.
Just for me, get to the shit. Like, I don't want to come in here and tell you what's wrong with me, and then next week tell you what else I did wrong, and then the following week tell you more shit that I'm doing wrong. Let's get back to how I not do nothing wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I fix my mindset on shit?
Implementing methods as well, but I would also remind you that it take a little time. Patience.
Them sessions is expensive.
They are.
So
that's why it's important to keep that W-2 for a little bit.
Mine was like $75 a session, and I was doing mine like once a week. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, I had part like with my job too. Mm-hmm. Without that, it's like $125. Yeah. I hit her up maybe a few months ago. Had a quick little. I feel like anytime I got hate in my heart, I need to talk to her because anybody get me to that point where it's like, damn, I could really hurt this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. That's when
when you get out of character, when you feel like this isn't me.
I'll be like, whoa.
Therapy helps you get back to you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What is the next topic? That was a good little, talking about a little mental health,
a little powwow. The next topic is you don't know my struggle.
You don't know my struggle. So you can't feel my hustle. You don't know my struggle.
You don't know no Boosie?
So you can't feel my hustle. You don't know what I done been through. You don't know that song?
You don't know that? I thought you was from Chirac.
Yeah, listen, Boosie is not from Chirac. What Boosie got to do with Chirac?
He got Midwest ties.
I mean, he do got Midwest ties, but I'm not going to hold you like... No, he's from Louisiana.
Boosie actually going through some more struggle right now. His artist ran off, and his brother
forged his signature.
Yeah, his brother forged his signature when he got shot for Young Blue with his artist to sign the Empire. So they ran off like, Young Blue, like it was like something where his brother, his own blood brother,
he gonna need to go to therapy. I know he want to kill.
Oh yeah, and he talked about like how his mom is going with his brother instead of him, like, you wrong for trying to get your money and stuff like that, where he was like, they stole from me, they went behind my back, forged my signature and things like that. So how
betrayal. Yeah, he's definitely gonna need some therapy after that.
Betrayal will get you to that point where you got hate in your heart.
Yeah,
because if you feel like somebody fuck with you like that and you only did good to them, you know what I'm saying?
I know that one. Father God, I've been betrayed.
Father God, I've been betrayed.
And exactly, Boosie needs some therapy.
Yeah, he do need some therapy.
So in this segment, what we really want to get down to is pretty much what made you you. What kind of hard times have you been through that really chiseled the rock that you become today? I never said it like that. That
chiseled
was
the rock. That was
the worst. That was a bar. Look at Jaja. Jaja like that one.
Chisel the rock. Is that just the question? Like, are y'all gonna lead in with some questions?
No questions. It's surely you, and then we gonna kind of like jump in there. But
well, what was your biggest downfall where you questioned entrepreneurship? Where you was like, I'm about to throw in the white towel, because every entrepreneur has gone through a phase where it's like, I'm burnt out. I'm about to quit. This ain't hitting. So everybody has been through a phase of where it's like, all right, I'm about to just switch it up.
Okay. So that phase for me, when I felt like, okay, I need to just switch it up, I would say it was after I wouldn't even say stint, like after building that vacation rental business and Airbnb, and I had all these units across Atlanta, and again, I'm making all of this money. I got this whole team of people, and we scaling really, really fast. Like I scaled really fast. I was able to build that business to about $200,000 within, I would say, 18 months. So it wasn't too terrible at all. But it got to a point where it was like I'm managing this and I have the option to, okay, I can keep on getting more units, keep on scaling, keep on going crazy. And now I got the mentorship added on to that. So that's even more money with it. And I'm releasing a course. But it was like, it was the point where I realized, and this was right around the time that I had turned 25. I like to call it like a quarter life crisis. It was a lot of bullshit that was going on at that time. But um I had basically gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm making all of this money. Like I had made the most money I had ever seen in my life. Most of my family had ever seen at all that year. And I was burnt out. I was tired. I had just recently gotten out of a abusive relationship, both physically and emotionally and mentally as well. But I felt like, I'm like, okay, I got all this money, into the outside, like to everybody else, it's like, damn, you winning. Like you getting feature pressures, like this shit is going crazy. You speaking here, you're doing all this stuff. But I wasn't fulfilled on the inside. I was super fucking burnt out from just like, well, chasing the bag. I was burnt out from that. So that that was the piece that kind of shifted a lot for me in terms of my outlook on entrepreneurship. That's what made me realize that it's like, I don't just want to be a hustler anymore. I want to be a CEO. I want to be a real business owner and figure out how I can like separate myself from the business. And even furthermore, it's like, I want to make sure that I'm actually taking care of myself, not just like, I was basically like lacking my own self-care in exchange to build the business. Like I'm like, we doing all this, we getting that, I'm moving, I'm taking flights, I'm doing all this stuff, but it's like I didn't miss my last fucking 2 doctor's appointments, or I haven't seen my therapist in, I don't know, over a year. All of this extra stuff in terms of me was going on as the business owner, but I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, no.
Like it's just like I was scaling so fast, but on the inside it felt like I was kind of like getting smaller, if that makes sense. Like everything on the outside was getting bigger, and then internally I was just really, really getting smaller. And that was insane because that was also at the peak of COVID. That was like right in the middle of COVID, and COVID changed a lot of
2
things
years ago, that's
for
when COVID.
exactly. It changed a lot of things for a lot of people. So that was my piece. At least one. I can give y'all some more. But
So how?
that's most
Yeah.
recent.
What's another one? What's another piece where you just felt like, oh, this was a pivotal shift in my life where things were different afterwards. Something you went through and got over.
A pivotal shift in my
Cause I
life.
know I seen you posted somewhere like didn't some people bust in one of your
Mm-hmm.
Airbnbs and
That
things
was a
like that.
huge piece as well. Exactly. I ended up getting arrested at one of my Airbnbs because I had a
What?
squatter. I had a squatter who was basically like they refused to leave the apartment. We had a guest checking in. So then I showed up and he's getting aggressive. And mind you, I have a license to carry. I got a Glock. Thank you. But I got a license to carry. So I'm like, okay, sir, like you keep charging at me, which all of this is on video. It almost became a case, but then I just didn't even want to give it the energy anymore. But yeah, he ended up literally staying in that apartment. That kind of was like, yeah, that was it. That was really like one of the pieces that was it for me. That was
Cause
like,
it's
okay, I
90
don't think I
days
want to
for
do
a
this.
squatter, right?
Exactly.
If they've been in your stuff for 90 days,
Exactly. And
they could.
it wasn't even 90 days. He had been in there like less than 30 days. I think it was like 28 days. And that's what pissed me off even more because I called the cops like 3 or 4 times and they came there, but it's like, oh, well, this is a civil issue. We can't handle this and all this other stuff. And the last person that came, or the last sheriff that came, it was almost like a, because mind you, they were white. They were white. And I felt like that played a major piece into it. But he's just like, well, his wife is scared and she's up there crying. I'm like, she just called me a bitch to my face. She literally was like, she pushed the door in my face. What do you, then she's up there crying. And I'm like, I literally remember saying, I'm like, I wish I could like put some tears on my face right now so that y'all see how upset I am. But unfortunately, I've been through worse shit in life. So it's like, because I don't have any tears on my face, you want to help me, but you want to say, just let her stay. And yeah, that was a lot.
How do squatters actually begin squatting? If you get what I'm saying, because I know it's like, are they breaking into people's properties and just living there? Because I know most of like people who squat, they be abandoned homes, and I know yours wasn't abandoned. So
no,
like,
they had rented. They had rented and paid some money, and they just stayed past their due date. But it can happen in a number of instances. Like, of course, you have your squatters that might be unhoused and they're finding an abandoned home or something to just kind of set up shop in. But then you have people that you might rent to, and then they get in there and they just refuse to continue paying rent. But because they've now moved all their stuff in and it looks like this is their place of residence, they might have got a piece of mail or something there. Then now all of a sudden it's like, okay, now it begins to get a little complicated. And then some people got to go through the process of eviction. Luckily for me, I didn't have to go through that. They ended up leaving, I would say, about a week after I was arrested, which I didn't officially end up getting booked. All of that was like a separate piece in and of itself, because after I ended up getting arrested, getting handcuffed, put in the back of the car and all of that, I was then told that I wasn't even supposed to be arrested in the first place. So
should have sued that.
It's still a case there. I got it all in the Google Drive. I got it all in the Drive folder. So yeah, but I think that goes back to the piece of like, for me, I started, and this was also the time where all of this shit's going on, where it's like so much is happening around me, but I kind of feel small on the inside, to where I had to, and then on top of that, that relationship that then put me not with a therapist, but a fucking psychiatrist, where now I'm diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression. It was just so much to where I had to choose to just let that go, because if I hold on to it and hold on to this like, oh, I want some revenge, I'm taking their ass to court and I'm about to get all of this stuff, it's like now I'm in this kind of state or mindset where I'm not, like you were saying, like I know I'm operating out of character. This ain't me. Like I don't want to.
You feel like you didn't get your justice and nobody really looking out for you, nobody hearing you. I got a family member that is like that, and people kind of put, oh, this you a victim mentality. No, this person just is not getting justified. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting a fair day in court, if you will. So it's like what you said, they gotta let it go. But I understand how that could be fucked up mentally.
I could feel, but it's like I think it's important, like operating out of ego, right? Like my ego would love to have a day in court where it's like, y'all know y'all was fucking wrong. Whether it was APD, the person who squatted, the officers who ended up coming and not doing anything, everybody is wrong in that situation. As much as I would love to have that day in court, I would have had to hold on to that for so long. Like, and letting it go was just, it was so much easier for me to do.
Officers not doing anything down here unless they have to, unless they force.
Like APD, everything that's going on right now, and APD know they, like Fulton County Jail, know they already got a bad rap, and then APD in and of themselves is just not the best. Like whether it was that squatter situation, or even when, you know, the instance happened when I was in that relationship and it turned into physical abuse and all of that. There was 2 times that I called them really late at night, and you're taking forever to come, and this man is literally charging, like trying to kill me. And y'all are acting like what? And to this day, I press charges and everything. I have not heard anything from that case, and it's been over 2 years.
I always be wondering, and I never want to like make your situation small, but I always be wondering when women say they're in a physical abusive relationship, does that always mean like he was really just like, or slapping or something like that? Or like, what is...
So I could see if you said like when women say they're in an abusive relationship, that's a little different because that's more generalized. But typically when I talk to women, they add the specifics of whether it was emotional abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, or whatever. But I will also add that abuse is abuse, period. Like, because emotional and mental abuse can be even like worse and more long lasting than physical abuse. The scars go away. Like me seeing you trying to charge at me and kill me, that image in my mind does not go away. And I think that also then speaks to, again, like I didn't even realize, it took me a minute after that situation even happened to actually go and say like, okay, I need some help, because I would get back to my apartment and it's like I find myself rushing into my apartment with my keys because I'm thinking that, okay, because he literally came to my house and kicked down my door and came in to my house. So I found myself, it was in the car, and then he parked behind me. It was so much. It was so much to that. Yeah. But either way, it's like I found like it was all of these little pieces to where I would see a car that he would drive. I knew he drove, or his type of car, and it's like, wait, is that him or what's going on? Like, and my heart would start racing. So I don't know. That's just...
Niggas are
women are not protected enough, personally, and that's really what made me realize between that situation with the squatter and then on top of the like that situation, it was just like, yeah, that was a lot. And like you said, like I still don't feel like I've had my day in court for either of those. So yeah, it's hard.
Protect the women.
But you still out here winning. I'm glad that your heart is, free of it, and you out here, talking about. So
I got one more question.
Grateful.
So since we're talking about struggle, obviously mental health comes into play. I know you got a lot of things going on, so I know you spoke about writing earlier. So like, how much time a day do you take for yourself just to shut down if it's working out, whatever it may be, just to protect your mental health? Because obviously you putting in that work, but putting in too much work, get burnt out, come drain. So how, like, what's the mechanisms that you use other than writing?
I think that's a great question. So other than writing, my morning routine and my nighttime routine are crucial and essential. I can go through the details of those, but I think it's really important with how you start your day and how you end your day, because then you're going into this state where like your mind is the most active when you are asleep. So morning routine for me, of course, includes the writing, but getting up and it's like I'm not immediately checking my phone. I get up, I do my writing, I do my 3 gratitudes, I do my skincare routine, and then I just take a walk. I have a dog. I got a dog after all of that BS happened in that relationship, and that's been like a shining light for me. So I get up, she gets me outside, gets me walking, get me active, getting some sun. Like getting some sun. When people say go touch grass, that's what they mean. Like get outside, get some sunlight, get some vitamin D, breathe some air. And grateful to be here in Atlanta where the air is so lovely. And then nighttime routine, again, no phone. I think the phones are like, that's a huge piece in terms of our mental states right now with these phones in comparison and all of that. But that's a different conversation. So not being on my phone. If I do need to, I like to write at night as well, because I don't like to go to sleep with a lot on my mind, because for me, I'm gonna just keep on thinking if it's on my mind. Like I need to write it down before I lay down and hit my head on the pillow, and that's it. And of course, yes, I do work out. So I do work out in the mornings. I take that time and at least do that. And I also have been working in breaks in the day, because I'm finding for me, I'm a lot more productive when I'm not trying to go 8 to 10 hours straight, just like pumping it out and being productive. It's like, let me go give myself a little like 15-minute walk, give myself a treat or whatever, but moderation. Because I found as well, for so long in my life, like I told you, I graduated high school in 3 years, went to IU, finished in 4, then I got my master's in 1, came here, and like everything I've been hitting, everywhere that I thought I would be by 30, I hit by damn near 23. So this like rush, I've been learning to get out of that, and it's like I ain't even got a rush no more. Like the shit is coming to me. And that then plays into like how I start my day and try to just be very slow and like I said, breaking up like my work blocks so that I'm actually having really focused work rather than like doing 16 different things in one day. But that's how I take time for myself. Morning routine, night routine, working out.
Oh, that's what's up. Shout out to my guy Real too. He be talking to me just about morning walks. I know that's something that he emphasizes, just clearing his mind, just taking morning walks.
Real.
Just seeing like the landscape.
Yes.
And just different things like that, where he said it just helps clear his mind, forget about all yesterday problems.
Yes.
And just open up. So
it brings you into the present moment, into now, when you like, you're not just like walking and looking down on your phone, but you really like, I always say, especially when I'm with my friends, even if we're on, whether or not we're on a rooftop, we're at a park, it's a nice sunny day, don't just look like out, like look up. Like look at the trees. You look at the top of the trees any given day, you see the sky, you see the clouds, it's blue against the green of the leaves. You look at the tips of the trees, they're always moving. If you're in a place where it ain't super fucking humid and hot. But they're always moving. So just being able to really ground yourself in what's around you right now, I think is crucial for like being able to you can always take time for yourself. I think that's what Maxine Waters was talking about when she said reclaiming my time. Like at any given point, even in the middle of this interview right now, like I can sit here and like take a moment for you. And I think that's super important that not a lot of people do. They don't just stop and sit with themselves.
And I always, whenever I do stop and sit to myself, I always be like, damn, it's been a minute. Yeah, I do that.
I don't say it's been a minute because I do it so often. You got to get out of that. Like, see, because you got
like, damn, I ain't really checked in with me.
Pay yourself out first, whether that's financially or whether that's with your time. Always pay yourself out first. Like at the beginning of the week, I'm blocking the time already so that nobody else takes it.
Right.
My calendar is what I live by, so I block my own time.
Lit. All right, you want to head into the next segment, Seagull?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so the next segment is called Money Talks. So this is pretty much for the business owners or for anybody who wants to kind of learn what you do. Mm-hmm. Pretty much what we do here is just talk about, with whatever, because you do a lot. So we can just pick a venture and then where you started, how much it took you to start, and how you came to fruition to actually be successful with that. Mm-hmm. Just kind of give, the game on that for somebody who can, who doesn't know, maybe somebody younger or if they're older that wants to start. Mm-hmm. So you pick what you want to talk about.
2 tiny homes.
Tiny homes. Mm-hmm. 2 tiny homes, like TOO?
Like tiny homes, period. Just that genre,
okay. So, I'm actually interested in learning about that, so I'm excited because when he told me he had tiny homes, I was like, what? And he showed me. But I realized we've been Facebook friends, so I went to your Facebook. I was like, damn, she been on this shit. You know what I'm talking about? So it's crazy how the internet is wild because you know people, but you don't even know. But we all connected. It's weird. But anyways, yeah, let's get into it. So it's pretty much you. So
absolutely. So when I told y'all I purchased my first house in 2019, when I bought that house, I have a house on the south side of Atlanta within the Lakewood neighborhood. And it's amazing. It's amazing. When I first bought that house, for me coming from Chicago, especially like where I was within the city, we didn't have super large yards. So when I started house shopping, I'm like, oh my God, these yards are an insane size. Like I can fit a house, if not 2 back here. So I made it a point to get a larger backyard, not really understanding what I wanted to do with it just yet. My mom had told me to like put a pool in it, and I'm like, nah, that ain't, that's for me. That's like an amenity. But during COVID, when I stopped traveling, because mind you, I was renting like the house that I had bought, the property I bought, I was renting that out. Like the sole goal of it was this is going to be a rental property and we're just going to keep on going. Once COVID happened, basically everything had shut down. So I wasn't able to do that anymore. And I'm now back in the house and I'm paying the mortgage, and I don't like paying mortgage. I don't like paying rent. Like, that's why I was renting stuff out. So I look out my kitchen window and I realize, like, you know what? I'm going to put a house back there because if I put a small, tiny house back there, this is when the YouTube videos have started getting popular and all of that. I'm like, I can safely live back there, downsize, and then I would be able to safely rent this space out to whoever that needs it, vacationers, tourists, whatever. So I ended up doing that, and we finished my first, which technically I like to say that it is an ADU. ADU means accessory dwelling unit. Accessory dwelling unit. So technically what I have is an ADU. It's still in the realm or the category of tiny homes, but it's a specific home that goes behind another home that you have. Accessory means like it's in addition to something else. So you have to have a primary structure on that lot in order to have what's called an ADU, which is what I have. So I ended up getting a shed and converting that shed into basically like a livable structure. Finished the entire interior. We connected the water, connected the plumbing, sewer, all of that good stuff. And basically, like initially, like I mentioned, it was going to be for me. But once we got into it, which you can watch the entire process of it all on my YouTube channel. I produced an entire docuseries called Going Tiny, and it's really popular actually. That's how I got a lot of like my features and all of that. But we ended up doing that, and I say we, which is like me, and I hired some contractors, a bunch of contractors to make this happen. So that's how I basically finished the first one. And at the time, when we realized we were like behind schedule and over budget, I then said, you know what? I am not going to move into this house. I'm going to start renting it immediately because I can tell that it's going to do really good with all of the hype and the talk around tiny homes right now. So I ended up putting that one on Airbnb. So at this point, the house has been there for a little over 2 years now, almost 3. For the first year, we did short-term rental, and within that, we made about like 50% of the ROI. Like we made a 50% ROI on that. The year after that, I then went to like month-to-month rentals. So basically, students, nurses, all of that good stuff. And by the end of that second year, I was able to basically make all of the money that I had put into the tiny house back. So, mind you, again, if someone who is looking to get into tiny homes or what I've done, understand that this isn't just like I got a tiny home and I'm just putting it anywhere. I had a house already. I had the land. For a lot of people who want to get into tiny homes at all, the main, I guess, deterrent or like roadblock for them is like, okay, where the hell do I get the land? I knew that it was going to be an easier route for me if I already had the land and let me just place it on what I got. So that's number one. And then from that point, once we finished that up, and after renting it for about a year, after that first year is when everything started to shift within my mind as well. That's when the squatter thing happened. And then I also started to realize, like, and then the real estate market started changing too. If y'all remember, like the beginning of COVID, like things really started changing, and then it was a seller's market, and then it was all of this stuff, right? And that's when I then realized, like, okay, this whole short term rental thing that I'm doing, it's great for me, but in the grand scheme of my mission and building up people that look like me and just communities in general and wanting to pour into other people, I'm taking away housing from people that need it. Because what happened was I started to get like single moms and I don't know, students reaching out to me on Airbnb, Furnish Finder, like all types of like all the platforms I was on, reaching out like, hey, my rent went up so much. I'm just wondering, like, are you able to rent this to me for just like a month while I figure things out? Or they're like, hey, can you give me a discount because I just can't afford anything right now, but I need to be in this area because this is where my job is, or this is where my kids go to school. And after maybe like the first one or two, I'm like, they just trying to find a discount. And then it got to the point where it was like 8 people, 9 people, 10, like, and there were a number of people, like large group of people just reaching out, and it's like, damn, that's when it clicked for me. Like, I think we're in a housing crisis. Like, people don't have anywhere to live. And that's also at the point where I started to realize the interconnectedness of housing, of having a house over your head in general, right? It's not just a fucking house. And I talk about this in my TED Talk, right? It's not just a house. And that's why we need to rethink how we think about housing. Because when you look at a house, that then is like your child's livelihood. That's your job. Like, when you spend too much on housing, or you just don't have a house in general, but more specifically, when you spend too much, you have less to spend on other things, like your health and your medical expenses, like food, like actually getting around, like, paying for your kids to go on that field trip. It just affects so many other aspects of your life. And that's when I'm like, okay, I don't, even though for some people it's like, well, damn, Precious, you only had like 8 or 9 units in Atlanta. That's not a lot. For me, it was 8 too many, because those are 8 places that it's like I can put somewhere somebody who need it. So that's basically what then started this entire shift of like, I think we need to show more homeowners, and specifically more urban homeowners and homeowners of color, that they can do something like I did within their backyard. And it allows them to do what's called multi-generational living, which is basically like, I can live in my house, and then maybe in the tiny house in the backyard, I move my mom back in because, she's aging and I want her to be closer to the grandkids and all of that. In our community, regardless, we tend to live multi-generationally without even realizing we do. You got your auntie and your little cousins staying like in a basement or something, or you might have an extra bedroom. I don't know about y'all, but for me, it was always a bunch of people in our house because they weren't in the best housing situation. So
coming in and out.
exactly. So then that's when I realized, I'm like, more like right now, typically in our minds, people look at the tiny home movement. It's known traditionally to be very, very white and very whitewashed. Or we looked at people having houses in their backyards as, wow, that's too expensive. Like, oh, like a pool house, right? Like, we look at it like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air shit. Like, we could never do that. When really, if you got the space, yes, you can. And it be us that's sitting on acres of land that, you know, you got from your grandma and ain't nobody did anything with, that you're not understanding, okay, I can really make something shaking with this. Or it's us who we sit and we go and sell grandma a house just because it's like, well, damn, she wasn't able to really keep up on the cleaning with this and all of that, so I'm just gonna sell it and cash out for $20,000. When really, if you put a little bit of money in it, you can cash out 2-3 years later for 100 times that amount. So that was really what sparked for me. Like, it was kind of the piece around putting the ADU in my backyard, and then everything happening with Airbnb, and then on top of that, overlaying whatever the housing market was, that I decided to start the startup that I have now, which is Gather ADU. Originally, we were branded and known as Landdrift, which is what I had started in that brand, but we recently merged with another startup out in California, and that's when we did a rebrand and became Gather ADU. So, like I mentioned, what we do is we basically just help homeowners explore what's possible with the land that they have. Meaning that if you are someone who you're saying, okay, I want to create housing in some way, right? And specifically in more of like a small way, whether this is in your backyard, you want to do a tiny home community, or I don't know, like you want to convert your basement or your garage into a livable space. We help homeowners explore that and then connect them with the financing partners, the builders, the manufacturers to actually make that happen. So we're supporting them from A to Z to make this process that has traditionally been very complicated for ADUs, right? We're making it to where it's very, very simple, or as simple as it can be, because homeowners like us, that look like us, we're not typically the ones that are going to our zoning meetings, going to city council meetings, going to the housing commission, but those are the meetings where they are making the decisions, where they're talking about what they want this community to look like. They're talking about the development. And I think that's a huge problem. And honestly, it's by design that we don't go, right? Because when do these meetings typically happen? On a Tuesday at like 2 p.m. or Monday at 10, when you know folks like us are going to be at work. We have to work. So I think it was super important, and that is why I started all of this, for us to be more involved within the community development that's going on around us and to have more of a stake in what's happening. And I think we can have a piece of this pie that's happening, all of this stuff that's happening in the real estate market now. I think ADUs and tiny homes are a really good way for us to get in and cash out later, to put ourselves in a better position.
What's the average square feet of a tiny home?
It depends. They can go anywhere from as low as, honestly, I would say like 100 square feet, all the way up to about 1,200. It really depends. But exactly. So even when you're thinking about, for instance, ADUs specifically, some regulations in certain cities for ADUs allow you to have a ADU, which is again like a back house, guest house, or whatever. That's like, it has to be less than 50% of the size of your main home. So if the main home is 5,000 square feet, you can have an ADU that's 2,500.
How many square feet is yours?
297. I didn't go all the way up to the 50% though. I wanted a true tiny house. So it's like I said, I had a shed. It's a 12 by 24 foot shed that we basically converted it into a studio. And it has a full kitchen, full bathroom, can fit a queen size bed, can actually fit 2 beds, a closet in there. So it has everything that you need. Doesn't even feel like less than 300 square feet. And the way people living in New York City, I don't want to hear no BS from nobody in the comments.
How much you rent them out a month?
When I was renting it out per month, because right now it's a different situation going on now, but when I was renting out per month, it was $1,400.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and people, even whether it was per month or on a daily basis or a weekly basis, I've always been able to get a real premium for it because people are so intrigued by the experience. So I would say, like, in that aspect, it's worth it. And many of the homeowners that reach out to us and want to work with us, they're looking to do it so that they can have some cash flow, put it on Airbnb or something. Yeah. But some of them actually just like, hey, I want like my grandmother to live in here. This is just going to be my office, or this is for my kids when they come visit. So it really just depends.
It's kind of like the new wave of like how people build those tree houses.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Where they use them like just for getaways, refreshers, things of that.
Absolutely. So it's so many ways to get into it. Like, if you're interested at all, I would say explore my YouTube channel. You can find it with just Precious Price. It's a bunch of tiny home stuff there. And you can see all of that information. And honestly, it's a rabbit hole for a lot of people. Once you start, you're not going to be able to stop going down, and you're going to try and figure out like, what can I make happen with my own land? And I think when we talk about missions and just I don't know, overall what people can learn from that entire experience. I always say that anybody who's looking to, number one, get into real estate, and even like number two, really want to make cash flow, or you eventually want to get into tiny homes or whatever, start where you are right now. When I look at my journey and we talk about like how much it took me to get started and all of that, it was really, if we go all the way back to where it really originated, it was nothing, because I used the apartment that I was living in the situation that I was already in. I was traveling for work. I didn't have to go find no hotel, and I was already put up in a hotel during the week, and I was renting that apartment during the week, and I'm stacking that bread, and then that bread then went towards my down payment for the first property, and then everything that I was making from renting that first property for those first 6 months before COVID then went into the initial project costs for the tiny house, and then everything from the tiny house then went into everything after that, and actually building this business that we have now. So start where you're at. Like, figure out how can you get rid of your housing expense. That is, get rid of your housing expense. If you take nothing else from this episode, figure out how to get rid of your housing expense, whether it's renting that extra room you got, renting your couch or whatever, because too many people are paying, again, the threshold is 30%. It shouldn't even be 30%, honestly. Too many people are paying more than 30%, honestly more than 50% of what they're making on their housing. When you're able to get rid of that expense and put that money back into your pocket, you can now use it for other things that you want to do. But I think sometimes we try to focus on like, oh, how can I get started flipping or wholesaling and doing this? Like, put it all to the side and just start with getting some more money in your pocket, getting rid of your housing expense.
The second half of Money Talks, because you know we own an accounting and tax firm. So like, what's your tax plan with all that?
My tax plan with
making sure that the money that you make, you don't overpay the IRS.
Oh gosh, I really wish we would have did this like 2.5 years ago, because that year I told y'all that it's like I made the most money that I had ever made. I owed the IRS more than I had ever thought possible.
How many years ago was that?
This was 2 years ago.
We can fix that.
So yes, let's talk. But yeah, so no, right now my tax plan is okay. I now work with not just a tax preparer, but a tax strategist. And I think for entrepreneurs who are not just wanting to be entrepreneurs, but real, people out here, right? Not just hustlers. Get you a tax strategist, not just somebody who's preparing your taxes. There's a total difference between somebody who's helping you like get the foresight that you need of this is the money that I'm about to make or what I'm thinking about or whatever, and then they're helping you plan ahead. Because I didn't even realize, like, it didn't click for me until after I got that IRS bill. All of the little things that the very, very rich people do that play, like, we think it's for good, but it's really playing into tax stuff. Like, let's say, right, Thanksgiving and Christmas is back to back, right? But it's also right before the year end. So we typically see lots of millionaires, billionaires, they got their nonprofits. We're giving away 1,000 turkeys. We're doing this. They're not just doing that for you. That's a write-off. And they're doing that before December 31st so that it can be a write-off for that fiscal year. And that's something that I didn't even realize until I got there. And then I think the other piece, like, folks don't prepare small business owners, and especially business owners of color, and entrepreneurs enough at all in this realm. But even when we're talking about like writing things off, right? For me, I had made all of that money, and on top of that, remember, these was webinars and like online stuff. So I don't have a ton of expenses. It's not like I'm writing off the car and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I want to keep my expenses as low as possible, because I want to say that, I didn't just make $100,000. I made $100,000 in profit. Well, as I'm doing that, that looks good from like a vanity metric. But on paper, when you're looking at taxes, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have did that at all. These are the little things that I just didn't know. So to answer your question in terms of like my tax plan now, I now have a tax strategist. But if I'm being honest with you, I still feel like I'm kind of weary. Like, I still feel like I can't trust somebody, because are you about to hit me with a bill too? Like, I want to get a refund again. I don't know if I need to pop a baby out or what, but.
It's gonna be tough. But
if you don't mind, do you mind sharing how much the IRS hits you with? Because a lot of entrepreneurs think they're going to get refunds, but they really don't know they're not paying federal taxes. So more than likely you're going
to pay it quarterly. Pay it quarterly. I wasn't doing that. My tax bill was around $12,000, which I've heard worse. But for me, it's like I'm expecting to get at least $2,000 back. Yeah. Like, at least I got nothing back, and they said this is what you owe, and then it was federal and state. Like I owed federal. It was just it was a lot. So help me out, please.
$12,000 on $100K is not that bad.
Cause you was still working there, wasn't you?
Exactly. Half of it I was still working. Yep.
Yeah,
I
she had
still half
W-2,
of it I
so.
still had the W-2. Yep.
So yeah, there's a plethora of tax strategies that we like to employ, but I think the first one for very new business owners, make sure that you have an LLC.
Oh yeah.
That way, just giving them the basics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's plenty, but
your
first,
LLC and your EIN and register with the IRS.
Exactly. Make sure that the IRS looks at you as a legitimate business. That way, when you write off certain expenses, they're gonna validate you. I don't know if you know this, but every business comes with a NAICS code.
Next.
And with that, they automatically say, okay, this person has. Let's just you brought up real earlier. You're a barber, so there is a code specifically for barbers and people who have that type of beauty industry type of business. And there's also expenses that the IRS expect from those people who post that code. So do your research, make sure that, if you're a new business owner, they're expecting you to take a loss. They're expecting you to write off expenses. And they're expecting those expenses to come from specific categories. And if they're not, then you might run into an audit, but just come talk to us. We'll make sure you know exactly what you're spending your money on, is it tax advantageous. Somebody like you, I would say, once you get over, for business owners nowadays, I say over 110, 120, it's time to go ahead and convert to an S corp. That's my second level tax strategy. That allows you to formally pay yourself, because I don't know if y'all know this. You tell me no. But as an LLC, all the money that you make, the government looks at that as your income.
Exactly.
So
it falls under.
When it's called a pass-through entity. Whatever you make or whatever you lose in your business gets jumbled up with all the other income that you have. But if you're an S corp, they'll actually separate the two entities and let you pay yourself from this entity, the S corp, a W-2 over here, and now you pay the income tax on the S corp, but there's a secret tax called the self-employment tax. Line 26 on your 1040. If it ain't line 26, it's 16. But one or the other. That number is what normal W-2 employees are going to pay for Social Security, Medicaid, all of that. You don't want to pay that 12.5% on all of your money. So having an S corp allows you to say, well, only this part that I paid myself is actually mine. Everything else stays in the business, and that's a next level tax strategy for you or anybody else who's actually starting to hit those figures of profit. You don't want to pay self-employment tax on every single dollar that you make. Trust me. So, like you said, if you have questions, just hit us up. We'll put the link in the bio. But we like to ask these type of questions just to see where business owners are. And hopefully they can learn, new business owners can learn. This is the Six Figure Club. We want to help you reach the six figures, and then keep the six figures. So
yes,
that's what we on.
100%.
Anything else you want to put in?
I got one last question before we go to the last little topic. If you had one piece of advice, I know you came from a good background, like a hustlers, and taught you the right intangibles to be successful. But if you had to give somebody who's younger, if it's a child, college student, whatever it may be, what's one tip that you would give them about financial literacy?
One tip about financial literacy?
You hold this book while you talk about it?
No, you gotta hold it while you talk about that. That ain't my book. Well, so one piece of advice that I would give for kids in financial is stay on top of like knowing where your money is at all times. That is what I would say, because once you start actually making money and you are not in that habit of like knowing where things are, knowing the balances of your accounts, statement dates, payment dates, all of that, like you're gonna get overwhelmed when the money comes. Like sometimes, especially in jobs, they like to say like you need to operate as if you already had that position, operate as if you already have that money, right? Like start budgeting and doing all of that stuff now with the small amount of money that you have, so that when it comes, like you already said, you keep more of it. But that would be my recommendation is like start keeping a spreadsheet, start knowing like the balances of all of your accounts, start knowing where your credit is each and every month, track it, because most credit card apps and all of that allow you to do it now, that would be my recommendation. Because most people, like, at a basic level, they don't do that. And now your account getting overdrafted.
I just learned that you can pull, because of the pandemic, there's a law in place that you can pull it every 7 days.
Yep.
New credit report.
Your credit report. Yep.
I literally learned it this week.
Yes. And it's been happening, like, and it's that rule or whatever has been in place for like the last 2 years. Yeah. So I pull it all the time and dispute discrepancies.
Absolutely. Dispute, even if it ain't a discrepancy.
You can dispute it all.
It might be an error in there. If they can't prove it within 30 days, it's a wrap. They got to take it off. Yeah. So, last segment. And on this one, basically, we give you the floor, and we just want you to motivate your audience. So it's just you, that camera right there, or that one if you want, and just talk your talk and just kind of motivate the people and get them ready to do life and whatever you want to give them. You got about a minute and a half.
I think I'm going to go back to everything we were talking about in the Power of Now segment. You need to get to know yourself in order to successfully operate within anything that's going on in this world. So I think continued like self-learning and introspection is super important. And in order to do that, write. Even if you have no idea what the hell to write about, write. I don't know what you're thinking right now, what's happening in your life. Like, recall the situation of your days, and as you continue to write, you're going to continue to, I guess, things are going to come out, and you're going to able to identify themes within yourself and your own life that then speak more to what you're passionate about, what actually gives you fuel and gives you life. Because in this day and age, especially if we're talking like younger people, right, younger folks are so easily influenced by what's happening on our phones, right? Because we're always on these phones. So it's really, really important for you to know what success means to you. And I know we listen to the Six Figure Club podcast, and it's amazing for people to get to six figures, but sometimes that is not what your version of success looks like. And you need to determine what it looks like for you. So that's why I always say, rather than thinking about like, okay, your 1 year goal, 3 year goal, 5 year goal, you need to sit and you need to think about lifestyle design. If you have never heard the term lifestyle design, look up the term lifestyle design, because it allows you to think about your life in a way that it's like, okay, how do I really want to live it? And then now I can retrospectively go back and then determine some goals. Because for some people, it's like, all right, well, if I'm saying I want to be able to take a vacation every single month of the year, and I don't want to have no budget on vacation whatsoever, that then is going to, like, that's a part of my lifestyle design, but then that now determines what type of goals that I should be having. If you're somebody who you're like, I just want a nice house in the suburbs with a dog, and I want to be a mommy so bad, and that is your version of success, and own it. Because it's really easy in this day and age to feel like success has to be, oh, I got a business and I probably got a W-2 job and I'm working from the beach every single day and I work from home and I'm remote and I got all of this money and all the Chanels and a G-Wagon. But if that doesn't speak to you, because like I said at the beginning, you can have all of these tangible things around you that might to a lot of people be indicators of success, but you don't feel it within yourself. And if you don't feel it within yourself, it means fucking nothing. So identify your own version of success and really get to know yourself and what you want. Not what your parents want, not what your friends want, not what everybody in your generation wants. What do you want? And that's it. Cause I always say sometimes I could be good with, give me about $75,000 and I'm living out in Bali. That's my lifestyle design. I'm cool. I don't need the $1 million. Give me that and I'm fulfilled. I'm cool. I'm good.
You cut up on that. You can shake my hand like that.
Come on now. I was in business school. Come on now.
I'm definitely gonna Google lifestyle design.
Me too. I ain't on that.
Yeah. That's a new word.
Dropping them sprinkles.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank y'all for having me. This was really good.
Nah, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, definitely. Where can they find you online?
You can find me everywhere. If you just Google Precious Price, baby, it'll all pop up. I am on all platforms.
I like the way you play.
Let me put my muscle up.
But yes, just Google Precious Price and you'll be able to find me on every platform. I'm on every platform regardless. It's either at Precious Price or at Precious C Price. I think I got both of them though, so they should redirect you to the right place. If you are wanting to find me online, you can literally just Google my name, Precious Price, and I'll be able to pop up wherever you frequent online. Whether it's at Precious Price or at Precious C Price, you'll be able to find me. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Catch me on Threads now, too.
I'm on Threads.
Come on, now.
Yeah. Put me on Threads. I'm about to be cutting up on Threads.
I'm definitely cutting up on Threads. So
don't come to me asking me about tax on Threads. Swear to God.
It's not business. Like, and that's for me. I talk a lot more in my plan too, because Threads like 3 days old. But I plan to talk a lot more about a lot of what we talked about here, like the power of now, journaling, and more like the.
You gonna be trying to motivate me?
I ain't trying to motivate. No, I'm trying. What? Introspective. I'm making you ask the questions you need to, so then you don't sit here like, damn, it's been a long time since I met myself.
Don't do that. You're coming at me this over this. Flip to this. Just flip to it. I just want to see what you think about it. This for grade school kids. I know that you done came from a spot where, this ain't really out of
shameless plug, I am not on Threads.
Get on Threads.
Get on Threads.
It's easy. They made it seamless.
Okay. A 6-year-old gonna read that and be like, Mama, what's credit?
I am not on TikTok or Threads.
So I will say in terms of Threads, and I put this on my TikTok as well, they did a fantastic job with the rollout of marketing. I told y'all marketing is my passion.
What did they market?
So listen to me. Let me explain it to you, right? Because it's different type. It's in your face marketing, like how you doing this whole thing. It is the slash it. Number one, they rolled it out and they didn't say anything. It was some real Beyonce level shit, right? Where it's just like, hey, it's there, go. Exactly. Number two, that little inmate number that you got on your profile. What is that? Exactly. That's the Threads. It's more marketing, right? Because somebody goes to your profile and it's like, what the hell is this? You click it and it's Threads and it's like, dang, somebody's already on there.
Because they was like, somebody who I knew was like, just posted their first Thread. Like, what the fuck they say? Mm-hmm. And I'm on there now, and you don't even know that you on there now.
And that's the marketing. On there now. That's the marketing of it. And then I would also say, even having that number, right? Like, I don't know when you got in, whether you're like one of the first million, exactly. Like, because the number, that's your number in line. Yes. Wait, y'all need to know my number. That's your number. So then the marketing behind it is insane, because if you're somebody who's like, damn, I don't want to be like 45 million and have that long ass number on my profile. Yeah. So then now more people are like, okay, well let me go ahead and get it. Exactly.
I heard also they made it where like people can't see how many people follow you.
No, so it's a roundabout way to see it. You can absolutely still find it, but what it shows is it shows your followers. It doesn't show how many people you're following, which I think is an amazing feature, because I think it plays into, again, like the psychology of people, right? In our minds, tell me how many times you probably seen somebody who followed you on, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and you're like, damn, they following like 5,000 people and they only got like 40 followers. I'm not following them. It's groupthink shit. Exactly. Yeah. I think it was an amazing feature for them to go ahead and hide the number of people folks are following. It's fine. Go.
It's fine?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I got a nephew coming. I'll get it for him.
You can?
Yeah. He ain't in grade school though yet. He ain't even born yet, but yeah.
Maybe they mama needs some of these tips though. That's the thing. Like, we trying to get the conversation started at home. I know like people. This is a
children's book though.
People we done gave it to, they're like, damn, I need one. Like, I need one for me.
They real behind. They need to stop. But this is good. No, I'm for real. I think this is good, but I also think it's super important to begin having those conversations earlier than what we already are, because if this grade school level book is like, it's good information in here for grade school level folks, but we have to advance our thinking financially and tax shit too. Like, don't just be going to H&R Block. Get hire Johnny.
Yeah, don't go to H&R Block. They don't know what they're doing.
So, TurboTax.
If you're a TurboTaxer, come with us. How's that marketing? No. Are you gonna let me take you to lunch so I can just get some marketing tips?
No, that's what. My marketing consultation fee is a lot higher than what lunch.
Take you to lunch.
It's higher than whatever the lunch would be though. Just pay me the consultation fee, and we can really get it in.
She done did her hat right. Okay.
We can really get it in.
Business. You went Kelly. She was the Kelly. Okay.
Hey, you feel me? So yeah.
But everybody who comes to our pod, we consider them business bestie now. High five. 2. Can you count?
Oh, my bad.
2.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, you strong, black woman.
She got that realtor in.
Make sure we protect our black queens at all costs.
Yeah. And if you give us that new profile, we'll go find her for you. Talk to him real quick.
He probably watching this. He probably stalking. He probably outside.
They be still binging. They be still binging.
You knock down the dope.
Nah, but we appreciate your time. Thank you again for coming through, showing love.
Thank y'all for having me.
I'm glad you didn't give us the TED Talk price. So we blessed.
Watch the TED Talk too. It's on my YouTube. It's important.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't. I had a
yeah. Leave the link to the Teddy. So
link to the TED, link to the TED, link to the CNN article, link to the CNBC article, link to the New York Times article, link to the Business Insider article, link to the YouTube, link to the TED Talk. I'm just saying, but I talk about all of this and all of those. So if you go to my website, preciousprice.com, you'll be able to just go ahead and find everything.
Now that's what's up.
Hey, it's been a 6 Figure Club pod. It's been a great pod. We potted for like down there 2 hours, guys.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, but we potted so long my phone died.
What?
It did.
Hey, appreciate you.
We appreciate you. Thank you again.